Hey everyone, I know this isn't my normal form of content, but I really feel that this needs to be talked about. Some of you may remember that my channel was down in June and July of 2017. Now you may notice that my video is a reply to someone else's. Inferno Plus posted a video on March 8th, 2019, and I saw that same video on the 13th of March. I watched it, and it inspired me enough to write a comment. See, there it is. I'd like to expand on this some more, but first I feel like we need to talk about Inferno's video. Now, one thing that is incredibly important to know about the YouTube copyright system that Inferno also pointed out are there are two types of repercussion when it comes to copyright. Copyright claims and copyright strikes. A copyright claim is when someone decides that they want to leave your video up, but they monetize the video for their own benefit. Now, you can dispute these claims, but it must be a clear-cut case of fair use. Otherwise, you run the risk of the copyright claim becoming a copyright strike. Now, if someone wanted to, they could just submit a copyright strike from the get-go. The reason to do this is remove a video from the platform that is not adding to the previous work cited, basically protecting their work. I myself have several copyright claims, all of which I've reviewed and decided they weren't worth fighting against because my chances of winning the dispute isn't very good and not worth the risk. Now, before May of 2017, I had a style of thumbnail I was using. Now, this thumbnail is highly influenced by my idol Chugga Conroy. I've never been good with Photoshop or any video editing software. To be honest, I've been teaching myself since the very beginning, so using another design as a template and using it as a jumping off point was a big help. Now, by this point, I've been playing a little game called Overwatch. You may have heard of it. For about a year. I've made quite a few good friends through the game. There's Astrotron, Gig, Queef, McGregor, Agathorn, and so many more good friends. I did make another so-called friend at the time. I'd love to call him Asshole, but I'm trying to be serious for once in my life. Instead, I'd like to call him Ashen Trout for this video. Now, Ashen Trout. Whenever I talked about my YouTube channel or possibly streaming on Twitch, he seemed very eager to help me. So eventually I caved and I let him help me enhance my thumbnail design. He was apparently going to school for design and was very familiar with Photoshop. I'll put a couple on screen here just so you guys can see the differences. I honestly didn't think Ashen Trout was a bad guy. I did have a note written on him on Discord where we tended to hang out. I mean, it's a harmless note, but with the high influx of people that had occurred on my server, it made it extremely easy to tell who he was. His note literally read, he likes to idle in the server, he screams angrily a lot, and to maybe not play as much competitive with this person because he was known to rage. The reason I labeled this guy as someone not to play competitive with is because he'd get extremely tilted and started throwing games. This was also the period in which I really wanted to try and improve at Overwatch and wouldn't get anywhere with him on my team. Then came the fateful day that changed everything. He's in the Discord server, bitching about the game, letting everyone know his disdain for it, when he makes a remark, a really heinous remark, one that hit a little too close to home for me, especially with the shooting that took place at the North Park Elementary School just recently, at the time. He told us all about how he was going to go down to the Blizzard HQ and shoot the place up because they didn't know how to design a game. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that was the general message. Several people messaged me via DMs while I was at work and pleaded that I remove him from the server. I quickly removed him from the server, and before I can even send him a DM, I'm at work at the time, by the way, he sends me a message. It must really suck being that sensitive on the internet. Oh boy, not like this. I confronted him, asking him if he really wanted to fight about this. I made sure to point out my own displeasure about his proposed actions, especially with the tragedies that had already happened. This conversation continued to go on, the rest of which I'm going to paraphrase, but he started calling me names, telling me I was a child, remember I was 22 at the time, and that I needed to stop using his design for my thumbnails or he's going to terminate my YouTube channel. I tried to de-escalate the situation, but he kept pushing the issue and wouldn't let up. That was May 26th. On May 29th, I received my first copyright strike from Ashen Trout. In it was a very strongly worded message about how I needed to stop using this thumbnail design. Reading over the copyright strike, I knew it was probably something I'd be able to fight, but I wasn't 100% sure. I actually got a hold of my mom, who got me in touch with a relative who was a lawyer. He proceeded to look over what had happened and told me that Ash and Trout didn't really have anything to go off of for a claim. Basically, what it came down to is that both Ash and Trout and I were creators of that initial piece, that thumbnail that got evolved from this to that. And then everything after that would still be considered a piece that we both worked on to create. On top of that, I was making something new with every thumbnail since the preview image changed every time. So I buckled down and I fought the copyright strike, knowing all too well that if Ash and Trout decided to press the issue, he'd have to take me to court over it. So I did the only thing I could do, and I had to defend my position. Now, defending your position on YouTube when it comes to a strike is a really, really messy thing. You want to know why? Because this person, or as it should be, a corporation, can submit a copyright strike without any personal or professional information being provided to the YouTuber. What I'd have to do, you may ask? I had to provide my legal name, professional address, and professional and linked email addresses, as well as my personal phone number. He now had all my contact information. Great. To me, this seems like a very one-way street, and as in Inferno Plus's video, can make it extremely hard to get a hold of the company. He ended up having to call a few different numbers, transferred from person to person a bunch, and overall, delayed from receiving any word from a real person. That's just plain unacceptable. But let's get back to what happened in 2017. I tried really hard to ignore the first strike against my channel, hoping Ash and Trout had gotten over his temper tantrum and had moved on. Well, on May 31st, I received my second strike as 3 more videos were taken down. Shortly after receiving the second strike, I contacted Ash and Trout directly via Discord again, trying to see if I could get him to back off or come to some sort of agreement. He ultimately wouldn't budge, saying that I had to change the thumbnail. So, being as hopeful and naive as I was, I decided to indulge him a little. I tweaked the changes he made and I sent it to him. His answer? No, you have to use a different design. So this time, I changed it again, completely redoing the layout. I believe I still have it, and you should be able to see it on screen now if I do. However, I sent it to him, and he said, yeah, you could use that. Are you fucking kidding me? This guy didn't just want his contributions changed. He wanted me to start out with a new thumbnail design. I replied to him, telling him that I wouldn't change the thumbnail design. It was obvious he was trying to waste my time and change everything I'd done to build up my channel image up to this point. I blocked him on Discord shortly afterwards. During this time, and for the next few days, I've been trying to do research into how to fight a false copyright strike of this fashion. I kept running into dead end after dead end with no information or support on how to try and combat this. Then, on June 5th, I received the email, stating that my YouTube channel had been disabled due to getting my third copyright strike. I looked at the list and saw that Ash and Trout had submitted 10 claims on videos just to put the nail in the coffin on my channel. And a couple of days later, I received a message from a friend of mine that was still on Ash and Trout's friend list. Apparently, Ash and Trout wanted to talk. I wasn't willing to unblock him, and honestly, I wanted a record of our conversation that I'd be able to hold on to. I still had his email address because that's how we ended up sharing Photoshop files with one another when he initially helped me. I sent him an email in an asking tone. Well, according to a mutual friend, you want to tell me the reason you're submitting copyright claims on my videos? It only took 30 minutes for me to receive a response. Now, to be honest, I've gone back and forth a lot on how I want to share this next part. Reading this word for word still makes me extremely angry, but I really think you guys should know just how malicious this guy was, and I hope I could do this in one take, because it's going to be super hard to do. From Ash and Trout, I told you what you needed to do. I've warned you countless times. You failed to listen to my warnings, and just like I said, your channel is paying the price for you not listening. I told you countless times to change your thumbnail from my design. You clearly do not understand how a copyright works. You have been stealing my design, and I have proof of it saying it is yours. You said you wanted to talk it out, and instead you blocked me on Discord, then talk shit about me behind my back to everyone else. I never place claims on your video contents, but the thumbnails I have. Yes, you were rude, ignorant, and selfish, but that's not why I reported your videos. I revoked my permissions for you to use my design, yet you still used it. I'm an artist. You never steal an artist's work. I could continue, but I sure hope someone as weak-minded as you will understand why your videos and channels have been terminated. Because of your selfishness, lies, and clueless talk on the subject, you are paying the consequences, even when I warned you countless times. Nothing you say will save you from your actions. All you had to do was not use the thumbnail layout. Bye. You should have listened to someone who was actually knowledgeable on the subject. I don't know why, but I tried to continue to work it out with this piece of shit. I tried to figure out another solution. I really did. All it got me were taunts, insults, and the I am mightier than thou attitude. All because this guy had my channel by its balls. All because he could submit a copyright strike, sit on it for 30 days, and there's nothing I can do about it. Only after a few emails in, I realized that Ashton Trout wasn't interested in coming to an agreement. He just wanted to keep the channel down, all because I kicked him from a Discord server. From here, I spent the next month trying to contact YouTube via multiple means. I sent an email to copyright@youtube.com and received an automated response saying that they received my email, and then again later telling me, your channel has been terminated, and a link to the copyright guidelines on YouTube. I'd already read over them several times, obviously. Reading it again wasn't going to help. I eventually took to Twitter, a site I didn't use very much back then, and even went out of my way to try and get a hold of Team YouTube or any of the other YouTube accounts. None of them even so much as acknowledged me. I even called several Google helplines, eventually getting to the people who answered questions about the YouTube website. None of them could tell me who I could talk to about these false copyright strikes on my account. I eventually had to give up on trying to salvage my channel before the 30 days was up. I was defeated, tired, and had wasted a good amount of my time trying to get my YouTube channel reinstated. Now, I do want to note that there were no guidelines on YouTube about how long you'd have to wait for your channel to be reinstated after a copyright strike falls off after not being replied to. All I could find was that if the copyright claimant doesn't respond to your dispute within 30 days, the copyright strike will be dropped. So, I decided to wait, basically twiddling my thumbs while I did so. Funny enough, it was during this time that I made my Twitch account. Twitch.tv/ThowanPlays. I decided to fill the time I'd normally use to create videos streaming instead. Soon, June 29th, the 30th day of my first dispute arrived. I checked my channel, and it was still gone. Well, I told myself, it probably won't be back until tomorrow. Won't that be a nice birthday present? Getting your channel back? Yeah, I sure think it would be. Yeah, no, I spent my birthday absolutely depressed out of my mind because my channel still wasn't back. June 30th became July 1st, then the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the 6th. At this point, I was pretty sure the channel was staying dead. And that if I wanted to make YouTube videos, I'd have to start all over. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't, and I'm still not a big YouTuber. I was crushed, had no support, no answers, and no solutions besides to move on at this point. Obviously, this story has a semi-happy ending. I mean, you're watching this video now. The channel came back on July 7th. I was so happy that I actually started posting videos immediately. I'd had a few stored up for when it came back. However, as time passed, I noticed the growth of my channel wasn't the same. I wasn't getting views, I wasn't getting subscribers as fast anymore. The wind had literally been taken out of my channel sales. I found out later, through a bit of research, that my channel wasn't even showing up in search results. Like at all. It took about a year for my channel to be removed from what seemed like the search result blacklist. Now, I'm honestly not sure if talking about this is a good idea. I mean, I've been told by one of my best friends that I shouldn't dredge it up again because that could cause the person to try and punish me again for stepping out of line. I don't and shouldn't have to live in fear that my channel will be taken down because someone has a slight against me. The YouTube copyright strike and claim system is broken, extremely abusable, and to me, extremely geared against its creators. I love YouTube. I love the platform. I've been on it since late 2006, early 2007, but I'm worried that the YouTube ship is going to start sinking, especially if its creators continue to be abused and bullied by this broken system. It needs to be fixed. Something needs to change. And I really hope that if enough creators talk about it, YouTube will start listening. If you've experienced similar problems as a creator, please tell your story. Tell viewers and creators alike how the system has affected you, how it's made you feel. But I think it's time for me to sign off here. I don't want to ramble. I don't want this video to lose its message. To my normal viewers, I apologize that this and another project have taken up so much of my time that I haven't posted videos since March 15th. And hopefully the next time I see you, we'll be having a lot more fun. Either way, guys, my name is Thowan, and I'll see you around on my favorite video platform.